battle between DeWanna Bonner, Alyssa Thomas versus A'ja Wilson. Question: are we talking about three of the four most unlikable athletes that this league has to offer? Question mark? In one damn finals?
What happens when a league's biggest game becomes its most embarrassing moment? When championship finals can't sell out, and a rookie who isn't even playing completely overshadows the entire event? The 2024 WNBA Finals exposed something the league didn't want to admit. And what happened in Game 2 left one of basketball's biggest stars, A'ja Wilson, visibly furious. This isn't just about empty seats or disappointing ratings. This is about the moment the WNBA realized it had a Caitlin Clark problem. Or maybe it realized it had a problem without Caitlin Clark. Let's talk about the night the finals died. Game 2 of the WNBA Finals.
I got some bad news. Number one, I don't think none of y'all are doing any pre-WNBA prep. I don't think none of y'all are fired up for no games. None of that. In fact, I believe y'all don't care. I think y'all care about the drama around it. I do believe that, but I don't think you care about the events itself.
This was supposed to be the moment. The Las Vegas Aces fighting to defend their championship title. 4 months of hype about this new era of women's basketball, with A'ja Wilson at the absolute peak of her powers. But then the cameras panned across the stands, and it was painfully obvious. The arena wasn't full, not even close. Entire sections sat empty.
Judging by ticket prices, neither does anybody else. Wow. If ever there was proof that the Caitlin Clark fans / Fever fans are now the overwhelming majority of the fandom, look at ticket prices for finals game.
Broadcasters seemed hesitant to zoom out too wide, probably because they knew what everyone watching at home could already see. Nobody showed up, and here's where it gets brutal. People started posting ticket prices on social media.
Holy hell, there's $35 seats right there. Right there. Plenty of good seats available. $46, $42.
$35 seats, $42, $46 for the finals, for what should be the biggest game of the season. Compare that to Caitlin Clark's regular season games with the Indiana Fever, where tickets were scalping for hundreds of dollars, where arenas were packed wall to wall with an energy that made the floor shake. The contrast couldn't have been more stark. Social media went absolutely savage. Within minutes, photos of those empty rows were everywhere, with mocking captions asking where all the fans went. What was supposed to be an epic showdown between Wilson's Aces and Alyssa Thomas's son suddenly looked like a casual practice session. Even the arena staff didn't seem energized. The music was blasting, cheerleaders were performing, but it all felt forced, like the league was desperately trying to manufacture excitement that simply wasn't there. Want to know how bad it really was? Someone ran a poll asking fans if they'd be watching the final series between these powerhouse teams, featuring some of the best players in the league. The results? 4% said yes. 4%. 96% said they wouldn't be watching.
This should scare the league to death. With DeWanna Bonner, Alyssa Thomas, and the Mercury in the finals against A'ja Wilson and the Aces, will you be locked in watching this series? Question mark. Yes or no? Hit the poll. 4% of brave souls said yes. 96% said hail to the no.
Let that sink in. The championship finals of a professional league and 96% of respondents said they had zero interest. This wasn't just disappointing for Aja Wilson. This was humiliating. For someone as competitive and accomplished as her, someone who'd worked her entire career to become the face of the league, this had to sting. But the comparison that came next? That's what really hurt. Here's the question that was on everyone's mind. If Caitlin Clark and the Fever were playing in these finals, would there be a single ticket under $300? The answer everyone knew was no.
Guys, if the Fever and Caitlin Clark was playing in a finals game, let's say against the Mercury, with all that drama around there, would there be a single ticket less than $300? Now, honestly, a single ticket less than $300. I don't think so. I think you'd have courtside seats go for $5,000.
Courtside seats would have gone for $5,000 easily. The place would have been absolutely packed, with an energy that you could feel through your TV screen.
You are not invested, you are not interested in watching this BS transpire on your television sets.
That's the reality the WNBA had to face. The reigning champions were playing their biggest game of the year, and they couldn't sell out. But a rookie who wasn't even in the playoffs had completely changed the game. Even though Clark wasn't on the court, her presence, or rather her absence, haunted the entire event. Fans weren't following teams anymore. They weren't invested in the traditional stars. They had their eyes squarely on Caitlin Clark, and when she wasn't playing, they simply tuned out. During the regular season, Clark had turned every venue into an event. People who'd never watched women's basketball before were suddenly buying jerseys, packing arenas, and setting TV rating records. She didn't just bring attention, she brought belief. The semifinals game between the Fever and the Aces drew 1.8 million viewers. The finals, people were wondering if it would even get half of that. Think about that.
If Caitlin Clark was playing, if she was in these finals along with the Fever, now you know why we conveniently did not hear anything about the ankle, blah, 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 and I won't be coming back until the season was basically over. The WNBA was very aware of what that was going to do to ticket prices, etc.
A semifinals game outdrawing the championship finals. By the middle of the second quarter, the cameras kept finding Aja Wilson, and you could see the frustration building. She was missing shots. The energy was flat. And every timeout was just this constant reminder that something huge was missing from these finals. Sources courtside said Wilson was visibly agitated, yelling, slamming her towel down, even taking subtle digs at the league's obsession with Caitlin Clark.
I can't wait to see the ratings for this. Because I did see where that semifinals game against the Aces and the Fever drew like 1.8 million viewers, I think, is what it was. Will they get half of that for this finals? Will they get half of the viewership for this finals?
When the league announced preliminary viewership figures for Game 2, the response was swift and brutal. There was a dramatic drop compared to Clark's semifinals game. The finals had fallen to numbers that looked like preseason broadcasts. For many fans, this validated everything they'd been saying all season. Without Clark, the WNBA didn't have what it needed to sustain the momentum it had built. Across social media, the comments were unrelenting. The league is in trouble. This wasn't just a finals game, it was a wake-up call. Even commentators subtly acknowledged the elephant in the room. One actually said on air, "A finals without Clark feels like a lost opportunity." That's a rare admission of what everyone was thinking. Fans weren't tuning in for strategy or statistics. They were looking for connection, for emotion, for excitement. And right then, the league's biggest emotional draw was sitting on the sidelines. The night ended with questions, not celebration. Was the WNBA ready for what Clark had unleashed? Could it succeed when its biggest attraction wasn't playing in the finals? Aja Wilson can outscore anyone on the court. Absolutely. But that night, she couldn't overshadow the one player who had completely changed the league's ecosystem without even touching the ball. This wasn't just about one disappointing game. This was about a league realizing that pride alone won't keep it afloat. It needs connection, it needs humility, and it needs to figure out how to keep all those new fans who came for Caitlin Clark from walking away. Because one thing became crystal clear that night. The WNBA has a Caitlin Clark problem, and it's not the one they think it is. If you found this video interesting, hit that like button and subscribe. Let me know in the comments. Do you think the WNBA can survive without Caitlin Clark? Let's discuss.